challenges are things that we believe are stepping stones. And so anytime it came, we would always find remedies to it. And we're getting something from there to be able to take care of the bills. I wasn't paying myself, but at least I made sure that all those who were engaged were always taken care of.
Right.
And so they invited us to go to church. None of those cousins of mine went to church. I was the only person who went with them. And when I went to church, I just loved it. You know, I was like, no, this is a church.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on Beyond the Surface podcast. Today we have a very special guest, a guest who breaks on the table faith and business. He's an astute man of God and a very successful businessman. I want to look at his journey, blending faith, his work as a minister of God, and also as a successful businessman. Be sure to watch to the end, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you comment in our comment section. Hello, Rev.
Hi.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the time of your busy schedule.
We are grateful.
All right, great. Let's get into your journey.
Okay.
You are an astute man of God, and also a very successful businessman. Okay. Let's look at your journey in business. After that, we'll come to the ministry. Okay. But your journey as a businessman, how did it start? How was the journey? Let's look at. Please take us through that.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm grateful, and thanks for all the compliments, wonderful compliments. So as a business person, I think the desire came whilst I was still in school.
Right.
I told myself that I was never going to work in a government institution.
Right.
And I was never going to work for anybody.
Okay.
And so right from whilst I was in school, I was thinking of ideas in terms of how to establish my own business.
Right.
You know, so there were things I used to do. I used to buy and sell. I used to do transactions, become a middleman here, make some small money here and there.
Back to back.
You know, and so all those things were going on. And just after national service, I decided to start a business, which was an HR services. That was Sparkle HR Services. Okay. And so we started recruiting people into institutions and organizations and all that. And that's how we started.
Let's look at that. So right after national service, how did you get the money to fund it?
Okay, so I think basically it had to do with some little savings that I had done whilst doing the service.
From your national service allowance?
National service. And then,
at your point, even now, Christ, how much? Like 700. I can wonder your time, how much?
It was very little. But see, the thing is that once you have a goal and there's something that you're hungry for, at the end of the day, you would realize that you really want to get that result or achieve that result. Okay, and so it's not really about how much you are earning, but it's what we do with what you earn. You know, and so there are people who make so much and yet they are not able to have anything at the end of the day.
That's true.
There are also people who would live off something very small, but because of the determination, the focus in terms of what they want to achieve with their lives, you see them sacrificing and putting something aside. I always tell people that saving and investment is not something we are born with. We acquire as we go along. And once you see the relevance and the importance, you would come to the point that it is a very important thing for you to be able to do. And so you do it.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the savings you've made during your national service period, and you started, that is what you used to start a business?
Yes, partly so. And then also I was also working in the church office at the same time. And so I used to get some
small allowances
from the church also. So putting that together, I was able to register the company. And once that business was registered, then it became easier for me.
How many people did you start the HR?
I actually started with 3 people. There was an HR officer, then there was a receptionist. And we rented some space.
You were paying all of them?
Yes, I was paying all of them. You know, and we rented some space within the Musicians Union of Ghana, the old passport office around the Musiga area. And we were paying them. But some way, somehow, by God's grace, we we're getting small businesses coming here in terms of the recruitment, in terms of what people pay. And we actually started with house helps.
Okay.
So we started engaging house helps for homes and for individuals and all those other things. And it was something that was moving very fast. But we now realize that the turnover was also very high.
Right.
Because the house helps will go and they'll be complaining that, the people are not treating them well, and they run away. The owners or the people who engage their services will now call and say that, look, these people have left. This girl said she wanted to leave at midnight, and then we went. So there was a lot of challenges with it. But challenges are things that we believe are stepping stones. And so anytime it came, we would always find remedies to it. And we're getting something from there to be able to take care of the bills. I wasn't paying myself, but at least I made sure that all those who were engaged were always taken care of.
Right. And something you said in the beginning that you decided that you were never going to work for. What inspired that thought? Was this something that you realized that, all these people who do this 9 to 5, you realize at the end of the day, nothing can really be seen. So you just wanted to make, what inspired that thought that I'm not going to, for a young person, national service, you decide that you don't even try to work a little bit and after that get into, what inspired that thought?
A number of things. One, my dad worked with government all his life until he went on voluntary retirement in around 95, 96 to do politics. Now, I think that life where you wake up in the morning, you go to work, and it's like you don't have control over your time. I have great respect for all those who are working 9 to 5. And I know that for most people, that is something that they are comfortable doing. But I, as a person, didn't want to do that. I wanted a lot more flexibility with my time and a lot more control in terms of what I use my time for. And then also, I realized that I didn't like uniformed jobs. Okay, so there was no way you're going to convince me to go into the military, the police. And, at certain times, the civil service, some of them, depending on the rank, you'd have to be in uniform and all those other things. So some of those things actually put me off. And so I was so determined to make sure that I didn't go into that area. And then the third thing was the kind of experiences growing up. I realized that anytime we went round putting a few ideas together and making some money, it was good money. And it's money that could take care of you for a certain period of time. And so why not? Why not do that, multiply that, and make sure that you get more so that at the end of the day, you can take care of yourself rather than keep yourself in a particular area and earn a specified amount, maybe the whole year or every other year or something like that.
That makes sense. Now, let's look at your HR job. I mean, I'm also an HR person, so I appreciate the feedbacks. Normally, the challenges will be the feedback you get from your clients. So the stuff you give to me is not actually... How did you handle that for a young business you started, it's doing well, you get this feedback from the, those nannies that you... How were you managing that?
So there are a lot of mindsets or a lot of mental attitudes of people when it comes to house helps. There are people who see them as, in quote, commodities, and so once you pay for them, you can use them anyhow. But we had guidelines, we had rules. So when you come to our agency and you wanted house help, we'll take you through. You pay a fee, we'll take you through, we give you a form to fill and all those other things. Now, we realize that people were abusing these girls because they go into their homes. I mean, the stories were that terrible. I remember there was somebody, a very rich old lady who came to our place, very nice person, only for us to have feedback. To the extent that, I mean, they were at a point, where the girl came into the home and the girl was giving the sponge of that they used to bath dogs. to the girl because she didn't come with a sponge.
Wow.
This girl used that sponge that day and she started having rashes and all that.
That's cool.
That was that bad. You see, and once we hear stuff like this, I mean, to be honest with you, nothing comes between the value of a human being and us.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it didn't matter how much you were paying. We're ready to refund your money for you. Because for us, the people who were giving to you would now become our ambassadors.
Yeah.
The people who, by word of mouth, will recommend us to other individuals, other businesses.
Yeah.
And so if you don't treat those people well, then you're not treating us well. Okay. I mean, people will be giving food, no meat, and yet this is a rich family that can afford so much.
Wow.
But because of the kind of mindset we have when it comes to house helps, nannies, those categories of workers, because you see, we don't see them as workers. We actually see them as helps.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, we treat them as people we are doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we act as such. It's like I'm doing you a favor, so you don't have to complain. I'm giving you this, you don't have to complain. If you complain, you don't have any right to. And so stay there and suffer.
Yeah.
Okay. And we wanted to change the narrative.
Yeah.
But we realized that it was very challenging. Okay. So anytime stuff like that came to us, we just don't even deal with the person again. Okay. We move on. We try and look for a good home where the lady or the person can move on to and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Then we also have situations of people trying to abuse them sexually. Okay. And those were terrible situations. But I mean, anything that had to do with the dignity or the value of a person, we never compromised on it. Okay. Those that had to do with maybe the girl not wanting to stay or wanting to work and stuff like that, would replace, the people for them. We'll ask them. Some of them, I don't want to work for the person. What is the reason? I just don't feel comfortable. Okay, then you go back.
Yeah.
We have a stock of people, so we will replace those people for you. So the challenges were coming. But by God's grace, we had the wisdom to be able to deal with some of these situations.
And also, I realized that in those times, certainly social media wasn't really active as we have today. So how were you sorting for your client? How were you?
Okay,
what was the strategy?
So what we did was that we went to some of the very big churches, like Christ the King, like some other places, and we advertised. They have bulletins, so we advertised in those bulletins because those were bulletins that every week they will print in black and white, but they will print and give out. Okay, so we had a number of clients coming from those organizations, and they picked up. And by virtue of the value we're giving to the people and their organizations, they always recommended us to other people. So the word of mouth was also going out. Then at certain times, when we are able to do some projects or some work and we get some substantial money, we started organizing training programs alongside. So we would advertise in the dailies, like Daily Graphic and all that, and then we would run it for maybe 2-3 weeks. And then would have the training program and all that. So by virtue of some of those projects that we're doing, we also had the name of the organization going out.
Yeah. And you are still doing this business?
Yes, we still do HR services.
And how big is your structure now?
So what we're doing now is that we are focusing more on the training side. Okay. So we do recruitments from time to time because some people know we do recruitments. So we do recruitments from time to time, but we do more of training. So we have organizations that we've partnered with. So on a yearly basis, at certain times in the year, we do training for their staff and all that. Yeah. And sometimes we try to collaborate with people from outside. We would organize a major program, training program, and we'll get maybe a change management program, a project management program. We get people to come, and then we advertise. And that's
Tell me the point you got your biggest client.
Okay, so this particular client was somebody that that person was with Christ the King at the time. Okay, and this client was really challenging to work with. Very. Yeah. Then he came in, called actually, and said, I want to see you guys. I want to have some discussions with you guys. And he had a big printing press. And apparently he was very, very influential.
Wow.
Okay. And so then what happened was we went to see him. We had discussions with him. But right then we realized that this is somebody that would be very difficult to work with.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it was that he made certain demands. We were able to fulfill those demands.
Yeah.
The comment he made was, this is the first time I have been looking for what this particular thing and an organization has been able to deliver.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So he was like, let's work.
Goal.
And that was it.
That was a great feeling.
You know,
I'm sure.
it was satisfying.
Yeah.
Because knowing that people, even the person's own staff, I mean, when you enter the office premises, or if the person, like you go in and the person is not yet in, and the person walks in, the way you see people reorganizing themselves, you could see that the person was in quote like a terror to them.
Wow.
You know, they are okay to be normal when the person is not around.
Yeah.
But as soon as the person is walking in, hey, this person is coming, boss is coming. They're all over the place.
That's
but
nice.
This was somebody that anytime we went to him, the laughter. You go out of his office and the staff will be asking, what did you discuss with this man? Because they never know him to be that type.
Yeah.
But you see, it's about customer experience, satisfaction.
Yeah.
Making sure that the client is king.
Yeah.
Getting what he or she wants.
Right.
Based on your knowledge, your experience, your advice.
Right.
Okay. And working hand in hand with the client to get the result that will make him more happy.
Right.
Or to give him beyond the value
Right.
that he or she is looking for.
Right.
And once you go beyond that, trust me,
Yeah.
you always have people come to you.
All right. So let's go back a little bit. You're not paying yourself.
Yes.
It was just your staff.
Yes.
How long did it take for you to now pay yourself? How long did
It actually took some time. And what the strategy, honestly, I have used is that I honestly have read materials that talk about you paying yourself first, doing this and all those other things. But to be honest with you, practically on the ground,
It doesn't work.
I am not able to pray that way. I don't know about others.
Yeah.
But I always make sure I pay my staff first.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever is left, there are times when it is not enough. There are times when it is way over. So you bank it, you make sure that at least it can take care of the organization for a certain period of time. Okay.
So during that period, how were you surviving from the money you were getting from the church? Because
Yes. I was still, you know, and my wife was also very supportive.
Okay.
You know, making sure that at the end of the day, the house is kept running. No complaints about we need this, we need that, stuff like that.
I mean,
And so
I'll come to the family aspect of
So at least that gave me some peace of mind
Yeah.
to be able to focus on the business and to sacrifice for the business.
So 2025, how long is the business now?
Oh, so that would be since 2010.
2010.
Since 2010.
Wow.
So that's about 15 years
15
now.
years.
Yes.
Wow. That's great.
15 years.
And I guess that's not the only business that
No.
Okay,
So
let's get into it.
So
You have a real estate too.
Yes. So we've entered into the real estate space.
At what point did you get into
Yeah, so that was about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. And what we started with was more of acquiring lands, you know, in certain strategic places and making
And the
sure.
funds to get this was coming from the first business that...
No, that one was a personal one because we didn't want to interfere with this particular one. And this was something that we're passionate about.
So this was your personal savings?
Yeah, this
you have
was
made.
personal savings.
Okay.
It was personal savings. So
Okay.
we started acquiring lands, putting some investment along those lines. Because even if you wanted to build, you would still need land to be able to do something like that. And so we've purchased quite a few in a few places.
I know real estate is a lucrative sector.
Yes.
But most times the challenge is the funding.
Yes.
Because acquiring the land wouldn't be as much, but
Yes.
putting the buildings onto it. What was the strategy? How were you getting the funding to build these structures?
So what we've always done is that we would always start with what we've gathered. So we would normally put some funding together.
Okay.
So we have some investments, a few investments here and there that would give us returns. And once the returns are coming in, we roll over. Because if we don't have anything to do, we would not touch those funds.
Right.
So we'll keep rolling over until there is a particular project we want to undertake. So we would have gathered something substantial to be able to do that. So we will put that into the project. And whilst the project is going, looking at where you get to, we could take some facility, and then we complete it, and then we pay off the facility.
How fast do you sell your houses?
So we've not gone into the sales yet.
Okay.
So we build and we rent.
Okay.
We build and we use
so
for
that's
Airbnb,
more of renting.
Airbnb, short-term rentals and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are properties we still own.
Okay.
And we use it, so it still generates some income for us to be able to. The short-term rental space is it's a very lucrative space, but it also requires a lot of investment because most of the time you would have to furnish the apartments,
right?
And that is, furnishing is a lot of money. When it comes to the structure itself, it's not as much as when you want to finish it very well.
Yeah.
So that part is quite intense in terms of the investment, but the returns are good. And once you keep your books well, you would see the returns, and it graduates. So once you start and people get to know about the property, you begin to realize that a lot more people would refer other people to that particular property because of the way you handle them and the kind of services that you offer.
Why do you decide to choose the rentals as to selling the apartment? Because I'm sure the selling of the buildings will gain you more money to keep building. Why did you choose that?
It will, path? But that takes time.
Okay.
Normally, what happens is that what I've noticed is that you have a situation where you need to be in a certain space to be able to get a certain clientele that would quickly be buying such properties.
Yeah.
Now, before you get into that space, you need to be able to create a story or something that would allow you to be able to enter that kind of space. And that is so we are just laying the foundation to be able to. Now, those kinds of clients have a certain taste and it comes at a certain cost. Okay. Now, most of these real estate organizations and all those things you see, they've built the financial muscle to the extent that they take a lot of facilities from outside the country. Okay. And we haven't gotten there yet, but we will get there.
Absolutely.
And so we are building as we go along. And we believe that what we are doing would help us to put something together, and then we'll build a certain asset base to be able to get into that particular space.
Right. Yeah. Now, let's look at the real estate industry for a bit.
Yes.
I know the Airbnb is quite a competitive sector.
Yes.
But you have done so well over the past. Yes. What is it that you'd say gave you the competitive advantage over most of the people that you already found in that space?
So the question you should ask yourself is, who do you want to attract? And what do they want? Okay. I think one of the errors we have as we speak is that we have a situation where a lot of people are entering into the Airbnb space. 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity of being in Kigali.
Okay.
Now, when we're in Kigali, we didn't go to a hotel. We rented Airbnb space. And I'm using this as an example.
Yeah.
Right. When we rented a facility, beautiful facility, we got to the place, we were welcomed. The first challenge, language. Okay. The caretaker, communicating with the caretaker was just a problem. Like, you have to give gestures, all kinds of stuff, because they are not English speaking. Okay. So that in itself was a challenge.
Yeah.
Now you get into that space and you realize that even the facilities they talk about or they've advertised, It is not the quality they've advertised.
Yeah.
Okay. So that in itself is a challenge.
Yeah.
But you see, that person doesn't see anything wrong because they are doing business.
Yeah.
So for them, it's business as usual. I have a caretaker. I've provided the things. People come in and they go. But that is not what we do. We prioritize the client. We want to make sure that you have an experience in any of the facilities you stay in. Okay. Now, apart from that, when you are in the facility, we also want to make sure that you are comfortable. So from time to time, we'll be checking up on you to find out whether everything is okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then we also have what we call the welcome baskets and all those other stuff. And we also make sure that by the time you are leaving, you've left a good review for us, because Airbnb actually thrives on reviews.
Absolutely.
People's experiences,
Yeah.
they share it and they let people know that, look, these people are good people. Other people would want to convince and cajole you to want to give them good reviews.
Yeah.
But why should I give you a good review when the experience has not been good? You get the picture?
Yeah.
So let it be real and love what you're doing. Don't just do it because there's money in it, but do it because it is a calling. Do it because you love to see people happy. You love to see people properly accommodated. You love to see people settle down and be able to do the things that they have to do, or the reason for which they've come, they are able to achieve it.
Right.
Okay, so it shouldn't be an added baggage to the person to be thinking of bed sheets, to be thinking of the water heater not working, all those kinds of things. So we are always on the ground to make sure that as much as possible, if there's any challenge, we get people on the ground to make sure that they work on it so that we get to the solution.
Customer satisfaction is
Customer
very
satisfaction,
key for
very,
you.
very important. And
Amazing.
that would always make people give you very good reviews. And then beyond that, a number of people have also come in by word of mouth.
Right.
You know, other people referring us to them, giving them our links, sharing our links with them.
Yeah.
And then the people book and they come.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, from this interview, and we feel like you've been very successful in business. Now, let's look at ministry.
Yeah.
You know, there is, before I even ask you that question, at what point did you see the call of God upon your life?
Yeah.
And let's take your journey as a minister of God.
Okay, so that would take me way back into secondary school.
Right. Okay. We're going back.
Well, in secondary school, I attended a Catholic secondary school, St. Augustine's College.
Right.
And shout outs to all my Absunians. You know, it was a great school, great experience. Whilst in school, there were two things that I wanted to do. I wanted to become school prefect, and then also I wanted to become a mass server.
Okay.
Okay, because at the time I was Catholic.
Okay.
Okay, and so I used to attend Christ the King, and so I went to a Catholic school, and I just loved the environment, the ambience, and all this. I didn't get the opportunity to become a school prefect.
Okay.
You know, I was asked to step down because apparently there were some other candidates that were being favored along certain lines.
Right.
I mean, we won't talk about those things. But then, I mean, I was class rep and all those other. I saw myself in leadership positions in various points in school. And I didn't get opportunity to become a mass server because I was also advised that once you get into mass serving, the next step will be becoming a Catholic priest, and I wanted to marry.
Definitely.
So that also didn't work out. But then when I finished school, my family had relocated to Nungwa, and I had some cousins who were like very young, boisterous people who would always stand at our gate and, you know, be calling women here and there, all kinds of stuff, you know. So we would come from school and young boys would look at them, would join them. Sometimes our dad would come and call us in, you know. So there were times we'll go to the roadside, stay at the roadside very late and come home. Then one of the days I joined them to go. And apparently they had been going to this lady, an elderly woman with her family.
Okay.
And they said they were selling. Then they would just go and sit there and be chatting and be calling ladies, all kinds of
Sister girl.
yeah. And then they started befriending this woman's children.
Okay.
Apparently, these were people who were going to church, and so they invited us to go to church. None of those cousins of mine went to church. I was the only person who went with them. And when I went to church, I just loved it. You know, I was like, no, this is a church. So I started going consistently. I joined the church, got involved in work, and that was it.
Wow.
After that, I realized that I just naturally loved the work of God, you know, and I'll do anything just to make sure that I'm part of God's work. And that's where we picked it from.
Wow. But, you know, there is this thing out there. I mean, I think it's a misconception where people would normally say that pastors depend on the offerings and on members to survive. Here, we've seen how successful you have been in business. This aside, many people don't know about pastors. Everyone out there, pastors survive on the offerings and our tithes. But you have been very successful. What's your view on that?
Okay, so let me salute my bishop, Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Clotte, very great man of God, and he actually nurtured us, trained us, and one of the things he always told us was that, look, you would always have to have something
doing.
You know, God would call people who are engaged, not people who have nothing doing, but people who are busy doing something.
Right.
You know, and so it was something that was imprinted in our spirits. And so we knew that we were never going to depend on church. And so right from start, he was a top government worker, top executive, rose to the very highest, one of the highest in Cocoa Board, and he was still doing work of the ministry. So he encouraged us to go to school, upgrade ourselves, and make sure that we were either working or doing our own work. And so that imprint came from that end. Now, to address the issue of the misconception or the mindset about pastors having offerings or depending on offerings
for survival.
There are people that believe that God has called them into certain areas. Now, you and I are not part of that negotiation, in quotes, when God is talking to them. Unfortunately, what I notice is a lot of people have used that as an avenue, to want to earn or to live. And sometimes it hasn't ended well. There are people genuinely who believe that God has called them not to do anything. How true that is, you and I cannot assess that. But once that person has that conviction, the person can go into ministry doing certain things. The challenge, however, for me, is not whether the person has been called into full-time ministry or part-time ministry. The challenge is the structures. What structures are in place in the church to ensure that the pastor is either paid and doesn't put his hands
in the offering.
Now, if there's that proper structure, you would realize that the pastor will be paid according to what maybe the governing board, the church council has agreed. And based on that, he takes care of himself with that. But the finances of the church will still be intact and will still be safe. So that there are other projects the church will be in a position to do. I hope you understand. Then there's also this other side, where a pastor sacrifices all his years based on the calling. Makes all the sacrifices, sacrifices his family, sacrifices his marriage, sacrifices working in the secular world, and all those things. Nobody sees his sweat and toil. Okay. But then, when you start hearing about the church, the first thing you want to question is, how is he managing the finances?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, you see, there are a lot of dynamics that come to play.
Yeah.
I'm still a young pastor coming up. So, there are a lot of things that are very tricky and very controversial that sometimes it becomes difficult for you to pinpoint and say that this person is right or this person is wrong.
Right.
Okay. But I believe that apart from the integrity of your heart, apart from you having the title of a man of God, what will also keep your integrity is the structures you put in place.
True.
So that at the end of the day, anybody who wants to audit your books, come and do it.
Right.
We are in a church.
Wow.
We have a finance committee. The chairperson of that committee is a fellow of the ACCA.
Right.
Okay. Very senior person who has worked in mining companies, has his own financial institution, all those kind of stuff. That kind of experience. We have bankers in there. We have people with a lot of knowledge when it comes to handling finances. And they have put structures in place. So even if we want to take funds to buy anything, you have to go through certain processes.
Right.
You have to bring invoices. Okay?
Yeah.
And the invoices will be vetted. And then you now be giving the money.
Right.
And you will now bring the product or whatever you're going to buy.
Right.
So we don't get close to money, and it saves us.
Right.
Okay, so that you can focus on the work that has to be done.
Right.
Remember, in the book of Acts, the early part of the church was going through some turmoil. Okay, and the Holy Ghost was moving. People started coming, people started joining, and 3,000. Look, Peter will preach and 3,000 will be saved one day.
Yeah.
Imagine logistically what that meant.
Yeah.
Thousands of people were coming. Okay. Now, there was memory. Some people thought that the Jews were being taken care of better than the Greeks and stuff like that. Those kind of frictions. Then Peter said something. He said, look, we cannot leave the word and the ministry of prayer and come and set tables.
Yeah.
So find people who are filled with the Holy Ghost, who are wise men, so that they will handle those aspects of the work.
Exactly.
Sometimes we try to put all these things together. They don't always work too well.
Right.
So you have the calling, focus on the calling, but get competent people filled with the Holy Spirit who buy into the vision.
Right.
And give them the authority to do the work so that at the end of the day, they can help you to go as far as you can go and make the impact that you need to make.
That's great. Let me put you on the spot on this debate out there. Okay. I'm sure you've heard it about what happened recently and the prophets, right?
Okay.
And all these prophecies coming up.
Okay.
And it looks like all this, prophecies of doom, president will do this. The presidency apparently released a communique. If you have a prophecy, communicate it to that office.
Okay.
I want your view. I know this is a little bit outside of, but because you are a man of God, I want your view on this.
Okay. So you see, well, it's not really new because I think last weekend when I was at the barbering shop, this same argument came up.
All right.
You know, my barbers were so angry. There are two guys actually, and I love them, you know. And one of them was like, look, Shatawale is his guy and he doesn't know why the prophet had a prophecy and he made it public and all those things. And apparently, I didn't also know the background, but apparently I understand Charles Niama Mensah, Shatta, had also sued the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy, they were in court.
Yeah.
So the guy had been embarrassed and all those things.
Yeah.
Now, the argument was that the prophecies and the things that the guy had said was coming to pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the angle from which I picked it.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that the word of God is infallible. The word of God is something that God has given us concerning his mind. Okay.
Right.
Now, it is our guide. It is our rule. And we follow it on a daily basis. Prophecy is Christian. Prophecy is part of the journey. So we don't despise prophecies. The way and manner in which it is handled, it's important.
Right.
But what I told my barbers was that your level of maturity counts. And that is important. God can tell you something, can give me a word concerning you. Right? How I present it to you would either make you angry or it will make you not want to have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
So the receiving is not a problem. The delivery is a challenge.
Right.
And I believe that that is the reason why that communique, in quote, was brought.
Yeah.
Now, the issue is that it is difficult for you to control certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, especially in the kind of environment we find ourselves in. Because there are countries you go to, certain things we do here, you will not be able to do it.
Yeah, certainly.
Because they have put the framework and the structure in place so that you don't do those kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have those kind of frameworks. And I believe that they are thinking of what to do and how to handle these things. Now, when you have a word concerning somebody, do you necessarily need to make it public? Or do you need to get the person and give it to the person?
Well, they'll tell you I don't have the number of the person.
Okay. So, if that is the case, some of these people have managements. Some of these people have offices. It may not be your job to want to go and do this. But you must also respect the dignity of the people you are communicating, because that person, in quote, you've put his name out.
Right.
That person has a family.
Right.
Okay? That person has children. What you have said in public, okay, how do you even guarantee that that is what God has told you?
Yeah.
Okay? So there are a lot of dynamics that come to play. But I believe that prophecy is important, but it must be delivered in such a way that at the end, because it is supposed to edify, it is supposed to correct, it is supposed to guide.
Right.
And all these things must be done in love.
Right.
That is the foundation. Love. Not because we want to be popular. Not because we want to be seen as the people that God is using the most. Because don't forget, this work of the ministry, it is grace and mercy.
Yeah.
When God is using you, God has graced you.
Fantastic.
He has shown you mercy.
Right.
It is not because you are better than anybody.
Yeah.
But God's grace, God's mercy, God's purposes and plans for your life are such that He's using you at this time.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Fantastic.
so there are a lot of people who have gone through the scriptures. And there are so many examples for us to follow.
Yeah.
Listen, I gave my brothers this example of Isaiah, a major prophet in the scriptures. And when you read the scriptures, I think First Chronicles, yes. Isaiah is giving a word to go and give to Hezekiah. Right. Hezekiah is king. Isaiah is told by God, because that is what is written, that go and tell Hezekiah that the sickness he has, he will die. Then Isaiah obediently goes and tells the king. As soon as he tells the king turns his face to the wall and he starts praying. He says, God, all this work I've done for you, please look at it and have mercy on me. And the Bible says he wept sore. Before Isaiah left the compound, because it was a palace, so it's not the 100 by 100 kind of structure where you can just enter the gate and leave.
True.
You have to walk a distance before you go. By the time Isaiah was leaving, God came with another instruction and said, go back and tell him that I will show him mercy and I'll add 15 more years.
Right.
So was Isaiah wrong? No. Was God wrong? No. Because it was the mind of God concerning him at that time.
Right.
Okay? But for all you know, God wants us to learn from this.
Right.
So that we understand that people have a right to prophesy. But we also have a right to either accept it or reject it.
Certainly.
So whatever the prophecy is, you can accept it or you can reject it.
Right.
That power does not lie with the prophet. It lies with you.
Right.
And once you have that relationship with your God, you can always call on him.
Fantastic.
And he will show you mercy.
Great. Let's wrap this up with this question. So, you were a successful businessman. You were a husband. You were a father. You were a man of God. How do you blend these two? How do you blend all this for? How do you handle? Because all of it is demanding. The work is demanding. You're a husband. It's demanding. You're a father. It's demanding. You're a minister of God. How do you blend this for? How do you do it?
I think it's grace. I think it's grace. It's the people that by God's grace he has surrounded me with, like my wife, very understanding person, and she's also a very busy person, but by the grace of God, we have a certain understanding and love for each other, and so there are things we discuss, and we plan ahead. Right. For example, the kids are going to school this coming week. Now, we bought their books, we paid their fees. All those things have been sorted out. So Tuesday, when they are going to school, we just arrange and take them to school.
Right.
So the things that need to be done that we can do ahead of time, we try to do it. Okay, so that it takes that pressure also off us. So last week, we were in school with them to choose their books, to buy their supplementaries, buy their uniforms, do all those. So we spent that time with them. We moved together with them.
Right.
Okay, so we create that time for the family. Now, in terms of ministry, very demanding, but we also create time. Because you see, we create time for the things that are important to us.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so once family, ministry are important things, we create that time for. Work, we can always engage people who would handle certain things, and then we also come in to make sure that the right things are done. For example, last week we had a contract with a financial institution, and we were doing some work, some survey work, both in Kumasi and Accra. I was working from home, able to do all those other stuff, but still coordinating all those data that wasn't being gathered, because the structures, the systems are already in place. And so you engage people, they go out there. You pay them what you have to pay them on a daily basis. They go every day. They are ending tomorrow. Okay, so people will still keep working. You will still keep engaging people, but you make sure that you engage the right people so that much of the pressure is taken off you in terms of what needs to be done. Okay, the things that you would have to do, you have to create time to be able to do them.
Fantastic.
And so all of those things are there. And then with regards to my relationship with my wife, I mean, we also spend time together. We mostly will travel together, and we do stuff together. So
when I'm going on business
trips,
yes.
We do stuff like that.
Okay.
When we're in Kigali like this, where we went for the global summit series for Africa.
Right.
That was project management professionals, and she's a project management professional, I'm a project management. So
that's
we all
great.
went together for for the program, and we spent that entire week together.
That's
Nice.
nice.
And so we built our lives so that it is integrated, and as much as possible, whilst we are moving on the journey, we're having fun, we're enjoying ourselves, and we are seeing so much of each other.
That's nice. I want to be like when I grow up.
I pray for grace.
That's great. This has been very insightful. Finally, to wrap it up, to hear on this podcast, the essence for all these interviews to inspire people out there to follow their passion, to go for it. You followed your passion many years ago. Today, this is the fruit. And if you had the opportunity, I'm sure you're going to make the same decisions again because it worked for you. Want you to talk to anyone out there who has some sort of doubt in respect to chasing after the dreams. Please speak to them and share your last words with them.
So what I will say is that, there is something that my Bishop, Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Hanklote has always taught us, and it is the God factor. And I think that for me, that is fundamental. God is real. And I pray that wherever you are watching this podcast from across the globe, that you will come to a certain realization that we are on this earth for a purpose, and there's a reason why God has brought us here.
Right.
I want to encourage you. Don't give up on yourself. What I believe, what I believe you may be missing is actually the God factor. People have had doubts about their lives, about their purpose on earth and all that. And they've gotten into positions where their back is against the wall. But you can always retrace your roots back to your Creator, back to your God. You didn't just appear on this earth. There was a grand plan and an agenda for you to be part of the solutions of this world. And so you may have mixed it up, but remember that you can get back on track as long as you commit to making sure that you are connecting back to your God, and also identifying the reason why you are here. I'm sure we'll find time and talk about purpose, talk about destiny, talk about all those other things. But I want to encourage you, God is real. And even where you are now, if you say a word of prayer, I heard from Archbishop Bensini Idahosa some years back, and he said that there is nobody who has called on God and asked for help that God has never helped.
That's true.
So once you call on God, He will help you. He will bring destiny helpers your way to retrace your roots. People have gone from zero and they become heroes. There are people who've messed up their marriages, messed up their lives, but they traced it back, and God gave them what it takes to be able to climb up again. So please, don't give up. Don't kill yourself. Don't stop moving forward. Keep moving forward and trust God. God will make it work for you.
Fantastic.
God bless you.
God bless you. Rev, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too.
This has been very, very insightful. Normally our interviews are short, but this time, no. We decided to just keep going. Because this was a conversation we needed to hear. We needed to hear. So thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm sure when this interview goes out there, it's going to really inspire a lot of people.
Very grateful.
So thank you again.
We're grateful.
Viewers, thank you so much for watching. In the words of Reverend, God has a purpose for you. Go for it. Do that very thing that you want to do. God bless you. We'll see you in our next episode. Be sure to share your comment. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Thank you.